Chag Sameach! So the table of food and the drinks will remain open. So we're going to ask you to find a seat and continue to get up and down and up and down and sing and cheer and boo and celebrate with us. Chag Sameach! We are here to celebrate Purim, Megilah, and our Shpiel. So we are going to begin. And the way we begin is, of course, with another l'chaim. L'chaim. And with a blessing for Megilah reading. So, Cantor, take it away. Look it up on look it up. Another l'chaim is in order. So I want to make sure everyone has their Purim equipment. There are groggers. If you don't have one, you should get one. There is also a handout with the reading. If you don't have one, you should get one. And as I mentioned, there are drinks. If you don't have one, you should get one.
Before we do anything in Judaism, we have to say a blessing, right? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al mikra Megilah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam sha'asa nisim lavoteinu bayamim hahem bazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shehecheyanu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh. Amen.
I'm going to call up Megilah readers when it's time for our Megilah readers. Our first Megilah reader is Rabbi Joseph Skloot. Our second Megilah reader is Rabbi Glazer and Rabbi Skloot. Our third Megilah reader will be Bruce Stein. Come on up next. And then Rebecca Davis, just so you know when you're ready. Let's go.
Vayehi b'mei Achashverosh, hu Achashverosh, המולך מהודו ועד כוש 27 ומאה מדינה בימים ההם כשבט המלך אחשוורוש על כיסא מלכותו אשר בשושן הבירה בשנת 3 למלכו עשה משתה לכל שריו ועבדיו אל פרס ומדי הפרטומים ושרי המדינות לפניו.
Please stand. We're doing the rest of one. You stop, right? For no fewer than 180 days he displayed the vast riches of his kingdom and the splendid glory of his majesty.
At the end of this period, the king gave a banquet for 7 days in the court of the king's palace garden for all the people who lived in the fortress of Shushan, high and low alike.
There were hangings of white cotton and blue wool, caught up by cords of fine linen and purple wool to silver rods and alabaster columns, whatever that is, and there were couches of gold and silver on a pavement of marble, alabaster, mother of pearl, and mosaics.
Mother of pearl. Royal wine
L'chaim!
was served in abundance, as befits a king, in golden beakers of varied design.
And the rule for the drinking was no restrictions, for the king had given orders to every palace steward to comply with each man's wishes.
In addition, Queen Vashti gave a banquet for women in the royal palace of King Ahasuerus.
On the 7th day, when the king was merry with wine, he ordered Mehuman, Bizatha, Harbona, Bigta, Agatha, Zethar, and Karkas, the 7 eunuchs in attendance on King Ahasuerus, to bring Queen Vashti before the king, wearing a royal diadem, not much else, to display her beauty to the peoples and the officials, for she was a beautiful woman.
But Queen Vashti refused to come at the king's command conveyed by the eunuchs. The king was greatly incensed, and his fury burned within him.
Then the king consulted the sages learned in procedure, for it was the royal practice to turn to all who were versed in law and precedent.
His closest advisors were Karshena, Shetar, Admata, Tarshish, Meres, Marsena, and Mekuman, the 7 ministers of Persia and Media, who had access to the royal presence and occupied the first place in the kingdom.
What, he asked, shall be done according to the law to Queen Vashti for failing to obey the command of the king Ahasuerus conveyed by the eunuch?
Thereupon Mekuman declared in the presence of the king and the ministers, Queen Vashti has committed an offense not only against your majesty, but also against all the officials and against all the peoples in the province of King Ahasuerus.
For the queen's behavior will make all the wives despise their husbands, as they reflect that King Ahasuerus himself ordered Queen Vashti to be brought before him, but she would not come.
This very day, the ladies of Persia and Media, who have heard of the queen's behavior, will cite it to all your majesty's officials, and there will be no end of scorn and provocation.
If it please your majesty, let a royal edict be issued by you, and let it be written into the laws of Persia and Media that it cannot be abrogated, that Vashti shall never enter the presence of King Ahasuerus, and let your majesty bestow her royal state upon another who is more worthy than she.
Then, when the judgment executed by your majesty resound throughout your realm, vast though it is, and all the wives will treat their husbands with respect, high and low, finally.
Maybe. We'll see about that. The proposal was approved by the king and the ministers, and the king did as Menmu Khan proposed.
Dispatches were sent to all the provinces of the king, and to every province in its own script, and every nation in its own language, and every man should wield authority in his home and speak the language of his own people.
That part's good. Bruce Stein, Chapter 2, followed by Rebecca Davis and Jack Lorber, then Rebecca Davis again.
אחר הדברים האלה כסוף עמד המלך אחשוורוש זכה את ושתי ואת אשר עשת ואת אשר נגזר עליה ויאמרו נערה המלך משרתיו יבקשו למלך נערות בתולות, טובות מראה. ויבכת המלך בגידים, בכל מדינות מלאכתו. ויקבצו את כל נערה בתולה, טובת מראה, אל שושן הבירה, אל בית הנשים, אל יד הגיא. סריס המלך שומר הנשים, בנתון תמרו כהן.
Yasher Koach! Rebecca, then Jack, then Rebecca, then Stacy Simon and Adam Kyle and Sophia Turner.
And let the maiden who pleases your majesty be queen instead of Vashti. The proposal pleased the king, and he acted upon it. In the fortress Shushan lived a Jew by the name of Mordecai, son of Jair, son of Shimei, son of Kish, a Benjaminite, had been exiled from Jerusalem in the group that was carried into exile along with King Jeconiah of Judah, which had been driven into exile by King Yes, of Babylon. He was foster father to Hadassah, that is, Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor mother. The maiden was shapely and beautiful, and when her father and mother died, Mordecai adopted her as his own daughter.
Jack Warburg!
ויהי וישמע דבר המלך בדעתו ויקבץ נערות רבות אל שושן הבירה אל יד הגיא ותילקח אסתר אל בית המלך אל יד הגיא שומר הנשים ותיטל הנערה בעיניו ותישא חסד לפניו ויהבל את תמכך ואת מנותיך לתת לה ואת שבע הנערות הראויות לתת לה מבית המלך וישניה ואת נערותיה לתוך בית השנים. לא הגידה אסתר את עמה ואת מעודתה כי מרדכי צבא עליך אשר לא הגיד.
Every single day, Mordecai would walk about in front of the court of the harem, to learn how Esther was faring and what was happening to her. When each girl's turn came to go to King Ahasuerus, at the end of 12 months' treatment prescribed for women, for that was the period spent on beautifying them, 6 months of oil of myrrh and 6 months of perfumes and women's cosmetics. And it was after that that the girl would go to the king. Whatever she asked for would be given to her to take with her from the harem to the king's palace. And she would go in the evening and leave in the morning for a second harem in charge of Shashgaz, the king's eunuch, guardian of the concubines. She would not go again to the king unless the king wanted her, when she would be summoned by name. And when the turn came for Esther, daughter of Abihail and uncle of Mordecai, who had adopted her as his own daughter to go to the king, she did not ask for anything but what Haggai, the king's eunuch, guardian of the women, advised. Yet Esther won the admiration of all who saw her. Esther was taken to King Ahasuerus in his royal palace in the 10th month, which is the month of Tebet, in the the 7th year of his reign. The king loved Esther more than all the other women, and she won his grace and favor more than all of the virgins. So he set her a royal diadem on her head and made her queen instead of Vashti. Okay. The king gave a great banquet for all his officials and courtiers, and the banquet of Esther. He proclaimed a remission of taxes for the provinces and distributed gifts as befits a king. When the virgins were assembled the second time, Mordecai sat in the palace gate. But Esther still did not reveal her kindred or her people as Mordecai had instructed her. For Esther obeyed Mordecai's bidding as she had done when under his tutelage. At that time, when Mordecai was sitting in the palace gate, Bigtan and Teresh, 2 of the king's eunuchs who guarded the threshold, became angry and plotted to do away with King Ahasuerus. Mordecai learned of it and told it to Queen Esther, and Esther reported it to the king in Mordecai's name. The matter was investigated and found to be so, and the 2 were impaled on stakes. This was recorded in the book of Annals at the instance of the king.
Great, Yasher Koach. Stacy Simon, followed by Adam Kyle, Sophia Turner, and then Cantor Fair, and then Adam Baff.
אשר איתו, בכל הדרך המלך, אשר בשער המלך, פורעים ומשתחווים, החמן. כי כן ציווה לך המלך ומרדכי, לא יכרע ולא ישתחווה, ביום יראו עבדי המלך, אשר בשער המלך מרדכי. מדוע אתה עובר את מצוות המלך?
Yahi, Kamelat Yom Bayom, V'lo Shama Eleihem, V'yagidu leHaman, V'lo Hayamdu Divrei Mordecai, V'hakid Lahem Asher Hu Yehudi.
Sophia Turner, followed by Cantor Fair, Adam Baff. Adam Baff, Adam Baff, Adam Baff. You have a long part. Then Marcia Forger.
When Haman saw that Mordecai would not kneel or bow low to him, Haman was filled with rage. But he disdained to lay hands on Mordecai alone. Having been told who Mordecai's people were, Haman plotted to do away with all the Jews, Mordecai's people, throughout the kingdom of Ahasuerus. In the first month, that is the month of Nisan, in the 12th year of King Ahasuerus, Pur, which means the lore, was cast before Haman concerning every day and every month. The 12th month, that is the month of Adar. Haman then said to King Ahasuerus, "There is a certain people, scattered and dispersed among the other peoples in all the provinces of your realm, whose laws are different from those of any other people, and who do not obey the king's laws, and it is not in your majesty's interest to tolerate them. If it please your majesty, let an edict be drawn for their destruction. And I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the stewards for deposit in the royal treasury." Thereupon the king removed his signet ring from his hand and gave it to Haman, son of Hammedatha the Agagite, the foe of the Jews. And the king said, "The money and the people are yours to do with as you see fit." On the 13th day of the first month, the king's scribes were summoned, and a decree was issued, as Haman directed, to the king's satraps, to the governors of every province, and to the officials of every people, to every province in its own script, and to every people in its own language. The orders were issued in the name of King Ahasuerus and sealed with the king's signet. Accordingly, written instructions were dispatched by couriers to all the king's provinces to destroy, massacre, and exterminate all the Jews, young and old, children and women, on a single day on the 13th day of the 12th month, that is the month of Adar, and to plunder their possessions. The text of the document was to the effect that a law should be proclaimed in every single province. It was to be publicly displayed to all the people so that they might be ready for that day. The couriers went out post haste on the royal mission, and the decree was proclaimed in the fortress Shushan. The king and Haman sat down to feast, but the city of Shushan was dumbfounded.
מרדכי ידע את כל אשר נעשה, ויקרא מרדכי את בגדיו, וילבש שק בהיתר, ויצא בתוך העיר, ויזעק זעקה גדולה.
Until he came in front of the palace gate, for one could not enter the palace gate wearing sackcloth. Also, in every province that the king's command and decree reached, there was great mourning among the Jews, with fasting, weeping, and wailing, and everybody lay in sackcloth and ashes. When Esther's maidens and eunuchs came and informed her, the queen was greatly agitated. She sent clothing for Mordecai to wear, so that he might take off his sackcloth, but he refused. Thereupon Esther summoned Hathach, one of the eunuchs whom the king had appointed to serve her, and sent him to Mordecai to learn the why and wherefore of it all. Hathach went out to Mordecai in the city square in front of the palace gate, and Mordecai told him all that had happened to him and all about the money that Haman had offered to pay into the royal treasury for the destruction of the Jews. He also gave him the written text of the law that had been proclaimed in Shushan for their destruction. He bade him show it to Esther and inform her and charge her to go to the king and to appeal to him and to plead with him for her people. When Hathach came and delivered Mordecai's message to Esther, Esther told Hathach to take back to Mordecai the following reply: all the king's courtiers and the people of the king's provinces know that if any person, man or woman, enters the king's presence in the inner court without having been summoned, there is but one law for him, that he be put to death. Only if the king extends the golden scepter to him may he live. Now I have not been summoned to visit the king for the last 30 days. When Mordecai was told what Esther had said,
Mordecai, we're going to find out because Marcia is going to read for us.
Mordecai had this message delivered to Esther. Do not imagine that you, of all the Jews, will escape with your life by being in the king's palace. On the contrary, if you keep silent in this crisis, relief and deliverance will come to the Jews from another quarter, while you and your father's house will perish. And who knows, perhaps you have attained to royal position for just such a crisis.
Amen.
Then Esther sent back this answer to Mordecai. Go, assemble all the Jews who live in Shushan, and fast in my behalf. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, night or day. I and my maidens will observe the same fast. Then I shall go to the king, though it is contrary to the law. And if I am to perish, I shall perish. So Mordecai went about the city and did just as Esther had commanded him.
Ann Karp, and then Andrea Gorin, and then Cantor Fair, and then Stephanie Sklar.
On the third day, Esther put on royal apparel and stood in the inner court of the king's palace, facing the king's palace, while the king was sitting on his royal throne in the throne room facing the entrance of the palace. As soon as the king saw Queen Esther standing in the court, she won his favor. The king extended to Esther the golden scepter for which he had in his hand, and Esther approached and touched the tip of the scepter. "What troubles you, Queen Esther?" the king asked her. "What is your request? Even to half the kingdom it shall be granted to you." "If it please your majesty," Esther replied, "let your majesty and Haman come today to the feast that I have prepared for him." The king commanded, "Tell Haman to hurry and do Esther's bidding." So the king and Haman came to the feast that Esther had prepared. At the wine feast, the king asked Esther, "What is your wish? It shall be granted. It shall be granted you. And what is your request? Even if to half the kingdom it shall be fulfilled."
"My wish," replied Esther, "my request, if your majesty will do me the favor, if it please your majesty to grant my wish and accede to my request, let your majesty and Haman come to the feast, which I will prepare for them, and tomorrow I will do your majesty's bidding." That day Haman went out happy and lighthearted, but when Haman saw Mordecai in the palace gate, and Mordecai did not rise or even stir on his account, Haman was filled with rage at him. Nevertheless, Haman controlled himself and went home. He sent for his friends and his wife Zeresh, and Haman told them about his great wealth and his many sons, and all about how the king had promoted him and advanced him above the officials and the king's courtiers. "What is more," said Haman, "Queen Esther gave a feast, and besides the king, she did not have anyone but me. And tomorrow, too, I am invited by her along with the king. Yet all this means nothing to me every time I see that Jew Mordecai sitting in the palace gate." Then his wife Zeresh and all his friends said to him, "Let a stake be put up 50 cubits high, and in the morning ask the king to have Mordecai impaled on it. Then you can go gaily with the king to the feast." The proposal pleased Haman, and he had the stake put up.
Yasher Koa, Cantor Fair, and then Stephanie Sklar, and then Rabbi Gluck.
Balaylahu narada Shenat Hamelech Vayomer lehavi et sefer hazikronot ibrei hayamim vayehiyu nikraim lifnei hamelech.
There it was found written that Mordecai had denounced Bigtan and Teresh, two of the king's eunuchs who guarded the threshold, who had plotted to do away with King Ahasuerus. What honor or advancements had been conferred on Mordecai for this? The king inquired. Nothing at all has been done for him, replied the king's servants who were in attendance on him. Who is in the court? The king asked. For Haman had just entered the outer court of the royal palace to speak to the king about having Mordecai impaled on the stake he had prepared for him. It is Haman standing in the court, the king's servants answered him. Let him enter, said the king. Haman entered, and the king asked him, what should be done for a man whom the king desires to honor? Haman said to himself, whom would the king desire to honor more than me? So Haman said to the king, for the man whom the king desires to honor, let royal garb, which the king has worn, be brought, and a horse on which the king has ridden, and on whose head a royal diadem has been set. And let the attire and the horse be put into the charge of one of the king's noble courtiers, and let the man whom the king desires to honor be attired and paraded on horse through the city square, while they proclaim before him, this is what is done for the man whom the king desires to honor. Quick then, said the king to Haman. Get the garb and the horse, as you have said, and do this to Mordecai the Jew, who sits in the king's gate. Omit nothing of all you have proposed. So Haman took the garb and the horse and arrayed Mordecai and paraded him through the city square. And he proclaimed before him, this is what is done for the man whom the king desires to honor. Then Mordecai returned to the king's gate, while Haman hurried home, his head covered in mourning. There Haman told his wife Zeresh and all his friends everything that had befallen him. His advisors and his wife Zeresh said to him, if Mordecai, before whom you have begun to fall, is of Jewish stock, you will not overcome him. You will fall before him to your ruin. While they were still speaking with him, the king's eunuchs arrived and hurriedly brought Haman to the banquet which Esther had prepared.
Rabbi Gluck, and then Ian Singer, and then Rabbi Gluck, and then Jesse Broom.
ויבוא המלך והמן. לשתות עם אסתר המלכה. ויאמר המלך לאסתר, גם ביום השני במשתה היין, מה שאלתך אסתר המלכה, ותינתן לך. ומה בקשתך עד חצי המלכות ותעש. ותען אסתר המלכה ותאמר, אם מצאתי חן בעיניך המלך, ואם על המלך טוב, תינתן לי נפשי בשאלתי, ועמי בבקשתי. כי נמכרנו אני ועמי להשמיד, להרוג ולאבד, ואילו לעבדים ולשפחות נמכרנו החרשתי, כי אין הצר שווה בנזק המלך.
Yomer Hamelech Ahashverosh, Vayomer, Esther Hamalka, Mihuzeh, Be'ezehu, Asher malao libo, Basod Cain, Batomer Esther, Ish Sarah Yoev, Haman, Hurrah Hazeh, Bahaman, Shivat, Nehamelech, Bahamalka,
והמלך קם בחמתו ממשתה היין אל גינת הביתן, והמן עמד לבקש על נפשו מאסתר המלכה. כי ראה כי חלתה אליו הרעה מאת המלך, והמלך שב בגינת הביתן אל בית משתה היין, והמן נופל. Yeah, that's good. על המיטה אשר אסתר עליה, ויאמר המלך הגם לכבוש את המלכה, אמי בבית. הדבר יצא מפי המלך ופני המן. חפו ויאמר חרונה אחד מן הסריסים לפני המלך, גם הנה העץ אשר עשה המן למרדכי, אשר דיבר טוב על המלך, עומד בבית המן. גבוה 50 אמה, ויאמר המלך תלוהו עליו, ויתלו את המן על העץ. But this is good news. אשר הכין למרדכי, וחמת המלך שכח.
That very day, King Ahasuerus gave the property of Haman, the enemy of the Jews, to Queen Esther. Mordecai presented himself to the king, for Esther had revealed how he was related to her. The king slipped off his ring, which he had taken back from Haman, and gave it to Mordecai, and Esther put Mordecai in charge of Haman's property. Esther spoke to the king again, falling at his feet and weeping and beseeching him to avert the evil plotted by Haman, the Agagite, against the Jews. The king extended the golden scepter to Esther, and Esther arose and stood before the king. "If it please your majesty," she said, "and if I have won your favor, and the proposal seems right to your majesty, and if I am pleasing to you, let dispatches be written countermanding those which were written by Haman, son of Hammedatha, and the Agagite, embodying his plot to annihilate the Jews throughout the king's provinces. For how can I bear to see the disaster which will befall my people? And how can I bear to see the destruction of my kindred?"
Amen. Yes, sir. Come on. You have 9.
Okay, so then King Ahasuerus said to the queen, Esther and Mordecai, the Jew, "I have given Haman's property to Esther, and he has been impaled on the stake for scheming against the Jews. And you may further write with regard to the Jews as ye see fit. Write it in the king's name and seal it with the king's signer, for an edict that has been written in the king's name and sealed with the king's signet may not be revoked."
Reed Weisberg, followed by Andy Seltzer, and then Cantor Farragon.
So the king's scribes were summoned at that time on the 23rd day of the third month of Sivan, and letters were written at Mordecai's dictation to the Jews, to the sheriffs, the governors, the officials, and the 127 provinces from India to Nubia, to every province in its own script, every in its own people, language, and to the Jews in their own script and language. He had them written in the name of the king Ahasuerus, sealed with the king's signer. Letters were dispatched and mounted by couriers, riding steeds used in the king's service, bred of royal stud. To effect, the king has permitted the Jews of every city to assemble and fight for their lives. If any people or province attacks them, they may destroy, massacre, and exterminate its armed forces together with women, children, and plunder their possessions. On a single day of all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus, named on the 13th day of the 12th month, and that month of Adar. The text of the document was to be issued as law in every single province. It was to be publicly displayed to all peoples, so that Jews should be ready for that day to avenge themselves on their enemies. The couriers mounted on royal steeds went out to urgent haste at the king's command. The decree was proclaimed in the fortress of Shushan. Mordecai left the king's presence in royal robes of blue and white, with a magnificent crown of gold, and a mantle of fine linen and purple wool. And the city of Shushan rang with joyous cries. The Jews enjoyed light and gladness, happiness and honor. And in every province and in every city, when the king's command and decree arrived, there was gladness and joy among the Jews, a feast and a holiday, and many of the people in the land professed to be Jews, for fear of the Jews had fallen upon them.
Andy Seltzer, followed by Cantor Fair, followed by Mark Seller.
And so, on the 13th day of the 12th month, that is the month of Adar, which was today, now it's the 14th day, and it's a full moon, as always, except for the lunar eclipse. When the king's command and decree were to be executed, the very day on which the enemies of the Jews had expected to get them in power, the opposite occurred, and the Jews got the enemies in the Jews' power. And throughout the provinces of King Ahasuerus, the Jews mustered in their cities to attack those who had sought to hurt them. And no one could withstand them, for the fear of them, the fear of the Jews, had fallen upon all the peoples. Indeed, all the officials of the provinces, the satraps, as the viceroys of the king, the governors, and the king's stewards showed deference to the Jews because the fear of Mordecai had fallen upon them. For Mordecai was now more powerful in the royal palace, and his fame was spreading throughout all the provinces. And the man Mordecai was growing ever and ever more powerful.
ויקהו היהודים בכל אויביהם, מכר חרב והרג ואבדן, ועשו בשושניהם כרצונם, בשושן הבירה. הרגו היהודים ועבד 500 איש. ואת פרשנתה ואת אלבון ואת אריסתה ואת פרתה ואת עדליה ואת ארידתה ואת פרמשתה ואת אריסה ואת ארירה ואת ויצא.
Mark Seller, followed by Helen Engel.
The 10 sons of Haman, son of Hammedatha, and the foe of the Jews, but they did not lay hands on the spoil. When the number of those slain in the fortress of Shushan were reported on the same day to the king said to Queen Esther, in the fortress Shushan alone the Jews have killed a total of 500 men, as well as the 10 sons of Haman. What then must they have done in the provinces of the realm? What is your wish now? It shall be granted you. And what else is your request? It shall be fulfilled. If it please your majesty, Esther replied, let the Jews in Shushan be permitted to act tomorrow also as they did today, and let Haman's 10 sons be impaled on the stake. The king ordered that this should be done, and the decree was proclaimed in Shushan. Haman's 10 sons were impaled. And the Jews in Shushan mustered again on the 14th day of Adar and slew 300 men in Shushan, but they did not lay hands on the spoil. The rest of the Jews and those in the king's provinces likewise mustered and fought for their lives. They disposed of their enemies, killing 75,000 of their foes, but they did not lay hands on the spoil. That was on the 13th day of the month of Adar. They rested on the 14th day and made it a day of feasting and merrymaking. But the Jews in Shushan mustered on both the 13th and 14th days, and so rested on the 15th and made it a day of feasting and merrymaking. That is why village Jews who live in unwalled towns observe the 14th day of the month of Adar and make it a day of merrymaking and feasting, and as a holiday and an occasion for sending gifts to one another.
Helen Engel, followed by Peter Engel and Bev Schwartz.
Mordecai recorded these events, and he sent dispatches to all the Jews throughout the province of King Ahasuerus, near and far, charging them to observe the 14th and 15th days of Adar every year, the same days on which the Jews enjoyed relief from their foes, and the same month which had been transformed for them from one of grief and mourning to one of festive joy. They were to observe them as days of feasting and merrymaking, and as an occasion for sending gifts to one another and presents to the poor. The Jews accordingly assumed as an obligation that which they had begun to practice and which Mordecai prescribed for them. For Haman, son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the foe of all the Jews, had plotted to destroy the Jews and had cast pur, that is, the lot, with intent to crush and exterminate them. But when Esther came before the king, he commanded, with the promulgation of this decree, let the evil plot which he devised against the Jews recoil on his own head. So they impaled him and his sons on the stake. For that reason, these days were named Purim, after Pur. In view then of all the instructions in the said letter, and of what they had experienced in that matter, and what had befallen them, the Jews undertook and irrevocably obligated themselves and their descendants and all who might join them to observe these 2 days in the manner prescribed and at the proper time each year. Consequently, these days are recalled and observed in every generation by every family, every province, and in every city.
Even Summit, New Jersey.
And these days of Purim shall never cease among the Jews, and the memory of them shall never perish among their descendants.
Then Queen Esther, daughter of Abigail, wrote a second letter of Purim for the purpose of confirming with full authority the aforementioned one of Mordecai the Jew. Dispatches were sent to all the Jews in the 127 provinces of the realm of Ahasuerus, with an ordinance of equity and honesty. These days of Purim shall be observed at their proper time, as Mordecai the Jew and now Queen Esther has obligated them to do. And just as they have assumed for themselves and their descendants the obligation of the fast with their lamentations, in Esther's ordinance validating these observances of Purim was recorded in a scroll.
Yasher Koach!
King Ahasuerus imposed tribute on the mainland and the islands. All his mighty, powerful acts and a full account of the greatness to which the king advanced Mordecai are recorded in annals of the kings of Media and Persia. For Mordecai the Jew ranked next to King Ahasuerus and was highly regarded by Jews and popular among the multitude of his brethren. He sought the good of the people and interceded in the welfare of all his kindred.
And in a moment, we'll hear a very different version of our Purim story. Please refresh your drinks and your snacks.
Chag Purim Sameach, everyone! We are excited to present our Purim Shpiel this year, the dramatic retelling of the story of Purim, of Queen Esther. And without further ado, let's begin the greatest Haman.
Ladies and gents, this is the moment you waited for. And sitting in your hands, there's a grogger you just can't ignore. This is a
Since Purim is your favorite day, we had to find another Shpiel. Now we're here and we're thrilled to say we have found the greatest Shpiel.
And we have found the greatest Shpiel. Since Purim is your favorite day, we chose a theme that would appeal. It's the greatest Shpiel. And we have found the greatest Shpiel. Melodies that can't be beat. Hold the sides while tapping your feet. Laughing hysterically without an engine speed. Oh, this is the greatest Shpiel.
Just.
Ugh, 6 months of partying can really wear a king out.
You have done a tremendous job at partying. This has got to be the greatest show in Shushan.
I know.
Your Highness, I have some disappointing news. The entertainer who is scheduled to be here is canceled.
Canceled? Who would dare cancel on the king?
I don't see a name, but apparently he was bringing Jumbo the elephant to the palace, but couldn't get him away from his stash of peanuts.
He could have come, but I disinvited him.
You disinvited him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, but that's what I'll tell everyone. Well, now I'm bored. Somebody entertain me. Somebody entertain me. Hey, you, Vashti, let's go.
Go?
I'm bored. You're here. You work. Come on, let's go.
I'm your queen, not part of your three-ring circus.
You work for me, you do what I say.
I don't work for you. I'm married to you.
Not with that attitude.
I can't believe you throw me out like yesterday's garbage. I have always been a faithful queen. Come and play, they say, 'cause you don't see my dignity. I've tried to be a wife that could say yes. Would it be like me if I accepted any less? But I won't let you break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us. Once we were glorious. When you ask me if I'm loyal yet, you'll have to take the response you get. I am hard, I am strong, and this message won't be long. I'm your queen, look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. You don't want a big scene, well you're not in charge of me. I'm your queen.
Ah, great. Now I need to find a new queen. Lackey, get me a new queen.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Your Highness, all the eligible maidens of the kingdom have been assembled. As you can see, they are quite eager to be the next queen of Persia. We've got all manners of performers and even a bearded lady.
Wait, what about that one? She doesn't look excited at all. Wait, is she bored?
I'm sure she isn't.
Hey, you, whatever your name is, come here.
Yes, Your Highness?
Why aren't you excited like all the other maidens?
I don't know what to tell you, but the job doesn't seem that great. Let's just say it's clear that there isn't a lot of job security, and I don't want to clown around like all the other girls.
But you could be rich, powerful, famed throughout the land. What girl wouldn't want that?
Honestly, I've read this whole Megilah, and it doesn't say anything about me being excited to be here.
You know, you might enjoy being queen. Come along for the ride, and you can't deny you'll be satisfied. You'll be satisfied. Turn your world into your fantasy. Goodbye, whatever you could do. Put a kid up with the king beside you. Once you go, you can't go back again to the world. come alive by my side. Get a brand new life as the king's new wife. Come along for the ride, and your hands and now you'll be satisfied. Turn your world into your fantasy goodbye. Whatever you think, but get over the king beside you. Once you go, you can't go back again. The world that you were living in, get the luxuries that were denied you. So give it a try.
Okay, I'll do it. I'll be the queen.
What? How would you like to eat off a plate made from solid gold? What? I've got a plan to overthrow the king. What do I... Picture it. Picture it. You could have roast lamb every night. All the apple juice you could drink. What do you think? What do I think of what? What are you talking about? I've got a plan to overthrow the king. Just saying a thing like that out loud could get you into big trouble. Sometimes you gotta take some risks. Look, we're standing here guarding the gate, treated like dirt, eating the scraps from the king's table. We should be running this show. What do you know about running a palace? You're crazy. Right here, right now, let's start our plotting out. 'Cause I wanna bring him down. I know you see it. You stand with me, and I can set us free. Far from the drudgery and walls you're guarding. Instead of dutiful, don't be so logical. And if it's crazy, live a little crazy. He's not defensible, so be unconventional. Why don't we risk it all and see? Don't you wanna get away from the same old part you gotta play? 'Cause you know I'll succeed, so come with me and stand with pride. I'll take you to the royal side, 'cause you can do like you do, or you can be like me. Stay at the gate or become like the royalty. Oh man, shouldn't be hard to decide. Let me take you to the royal side. Okay, my friend, you wanna zoom in. Well, I hate to tell you, but it just won't happen. So thanks, but no, I think I'm good to go. 'Cause I don't get the plan, you'll somehow trap him. Now I admire you, you're motivated too. You're onto something, really it's something. But I'm a realist, and really there's no hope in this. So please excuse me, but we're through. But you could finally live a little, own a little. Just help me give you the freedom you dream of. It'll shake you up and cure your aching. Scale these walls and start on breaking. Now that's a risk that seems worth taking. But of course you said we're through. Well, it's intriguing, but the king might catch us planning. So what percentage of the world would I be manning? Well, fair enough, you'd see a piece of all the action. You'll be in our row, we could surely make that happen. I wasn't born this morning, a prince would be just fine. Why not just go ahead and rule the kingdom? I'll resign. A duke?
Can't let them get away with the whole scheme that they're gonna play. 'Cause we can't let them succeed. I'll go to the king, and I will stand with pride. Gonna say,
Like me, done with the gate, 'cause we're gonna be royalty. Oh man, suddenly we're free to fly. We're headed to the royal side. It's crazy, but I'm in. Let's do it. Let's overthrow the king. Excellent.
next time, get a room.
You think he heard?
Your Majesty.
Why, Haman? What's new with my favorite advisor?
Oh, the usual. Spreading lies, sowing mistrust among the people, inciting hate. I'm actually working on a new technique for controlling the population.
What's it called?
Fake news. And there's a sucker born every minute.
Sounds intriguing. Do you just spend all of your time plotting these horrible ideas?
Of course, I've been plotting and scheming ever since I was a little kid.
I close my eyes and I can see a future where we'll all be free, and we pray each day to the God we adore. I will ask forevermore a place of our own. They can say it all takes so long. They can say I've lost my mind. I don't care, 'cause I am so strong. We will live in a world that we design, 'cause every night I lie in bed, a land of our own fills my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be if all open their eyes to see kindness and love are all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make.
Wait a second. That man there isn't bowing. Make him bow to me.
You're supposed to be bowing.
Nope.
I heard him. Tell him that if he doesn't bow, you will sick the lions on him.
If you don't bow, I'll stick the lions on you.
Yeah, whatever.
I know, I heard him. He's like 3 feet away from me. Go, tell him something, I don't know.
Excuse me. I couldn't help but overhear your conversation with the bozo over here, and I'm not bowing, and you can't make me.
Well, you should. It's the law to bow before me, you know.
Well, that may be your law, but I am Mordecai the Jew, and my law is that I only bow to God, and you, sir, are no God.
Excuse me, how dare you defy my will?
Oh my gosh, you have lived a sheltered life. Oh, did you not have many friends when you were a kid?
How dare you? You better, or else I'm...
You know, why don't you take a few minutes, get your thoughts in order, come up with a really scary threat, and then write it down and send it to me in an email, okay? It was so nice meeting you, Mr. Haman.
My name is...
Oh, yep, okay, bye, bye.
Haman. My name is Haman. I'm trying to understand why he didn't bow. Can't let this be the end. He set off an evil plan. Getting clearer now. I can see me triumphing. Take my word, I will have my revenge. A Mordecai because of you. All the sweets I could steal from babies, All the families I could ruin will never be enough. Never be enough. My revenge won't be a little. I might destroy his town, but it'll never be enough. Never be enough for me. Never, 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 never for me, for me. Never enough, never enough, never enough for me, for me, for me. All the streets I could steal from babies, all the families I could ruin will never be enough, never be enough. My revenge won't be a little. I might destroy his town, but it'll never be enough, never be enough for me. Never, 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 never for me, for me. Never enough, never, never, never enough, never, never, never enough for me, for me, for me, for me.
My dear Esther, we have a major problem.
I heard Haman has convinced the king to issue a decree saying that all the Jews will be banished in just a few days.
It's a shunda what they can get away with these days.
And also, did I hear correctly that you were the one who refused to bow to him?
I was staying true to our faith. I'm not ashamed of that. But now, thank you. Now, it's your turn to save us.
Why is this suddenly my responsibility? You made the mess, you clean it up.
Well, you're the queen. Don't imagine that you'll be safe once the Jews start disappearing. You're the only one with access to the king.
All thanks to you, we are sure to be victims as planned. Decree has been written, it's up to me, even though I am clearly outmanned. Plot has been thickened, but I am the queen, and I stand alone. And no one else can save our home. When I was young, I was happy and safe and serene. Now we're walking a tightrope. Nobody asked me if I was okay being clean. Now we're walking a tightrope, but I'm sure that I know how far we could fall. Yeah, it comes with a palace, and I've got a breathtaking view. Walking a tightrope with Haman has gotten control over all of our fates. Sure, he's the greatest. History has shown us that tyrants will lie there and wait. He's just the latest, but I am the queen, and I stand alone. And nobody else can save our home. When I was young, I was happy and safe and serene.
I can't sleep.
Can I get your majesty some tea?
No. What are you?
Some what, your highness?
Give me some melatonin.
Some what, your highness? Would your highness like it if I read you a story?
Sure, why not? My anxiety can't get any worse.
From life under the big top to where your royal guards are plotting to overthrow your rule.
Are you trying to increase my anxiety level right now? Because it's right here.
But the plot was overheard by Mordecai the Jew, and the guards were caught and executed.
Oh, thank goodness I couldn't have handled another scare. But what reward did this Mordecai the Jew receive?
Nothing, your highness.
Then we shall have to do something about that.
Good evening, Your Highness.
Haman, what are you doing here in the middle of the night?
I was just hanging around.
You're creepy sometimes. Never mind. I need your help with something. I got a guy who needs a reward, but I just don't know what to give him.
A reward, huh? Is it for someone special?
I guess so.
And is it someone who deserves a big reward?
Sure, why not?
Is it for me?
Jeez, Haman.
Okay. The reward I've always dreamed of is to be the ringleader and be placed on the royal horse, dressed in the royal robes, and be led around the city by one of your ministers.
What, are you starting a circus? Well, anyways, that's a little more elaborate than I had, but sure, why not? Go get my horse and my robes, and then you can be the one to lead Mordecai the Jew around the city. Now go!
Well, that's not necessarily not what I was imagining. It should be me.
What an elaborate feast you have put together for us.
Truly, Queen Esther, this has been an absolute delight.
All my favorite foods, my favorite kind of wine.
Thank you both for indulging me and allowing me to serve you.
What reward can I give for such a devoted spouse? Anything, it's truly yours.
My king, I do have one request to ask of you. Save my life.
What do you mean, save your life?
Someone close to you has threatened my life and those of my family. You must save me.
Of course, I would never let anyone harm you. Who would dare threaten the queen?
Haman!
Wait, what? Me? Your Highness, Your Highness, I never threatened the queen, I swear.
Haman! You have threatened my people with extinction, and also you could seek your petty vengeance.
How dare you threaten the queen's life, and you will pay for your crime. Guard, seize him!
Wait a second, Esther. Your people?
Yes, Haman.
No, I mean...
I am Jewish.
Guards, hold on a sec. Wait, you're Jewish?
Yes, what does it matter? Just a minute ago, you said I was your devoted spouse and you were ready to defend my honor, and now you're not sure?
Well, I'm sure, sort of. I guess.
Well, I'm done hiding who I am. My
side with me or Haman. Boo!
Esther, my queen, you are right. I shouldn't judge you based on the bias of your family or your religion, but by your loyalness. And I have been well served by Mordecai the Jew. What do you, and Haman, what do you have to say for yourself?
Oh, Your Majesties, I didn't mean to do it.
I'm sorry, what?
Okay, I meant to. It's not a secret I tried to hide, and now you've caught me. It's not worth saying another lie. You said I'm going to die. I feel the shit and I got exactly what I just deserve. And my name's on this field, but now you stop me, but I can see another destiny. Wish I could rewrite the Shpiel, say that the ending was mine. No one could bring me to heel. Sure, you'd be dead, but then I'd be fine. This time it's you, but next time it's me. We can just change the world that we read. So why don't we rewrite the Shpiel? Maybe we try a deal tonight. No, 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 no!
And bring Mordecai in. Mordecai, in honor of your service, I am making you the great... I'm making you the prime... I'm giving you Haman's job.
Yeah.
And making you the Prime Minister of Shushan and the greatest showman.
Thank you, Your Highness. And my first act, with your permission, is to declare today a holiday for the Jews. We shall always remember Queen Esther's bravery and her victory on this day. So now our Purim Shpiel is done. Queen Esther truly won the day. We're tired and our songs are sung. Put our costumes back and our props away. But from this story we must learn, sometimes our time is due. When all seems dark, that's when we know that it all comes down to you. From now on, we'll tell of how Queen Esther saved us all. From now on, we'll follow her example, standing tall, stand tall. Let this story be a light. We can choose to do what's right from now on. From now on. From now now the whole cast come on out, please. Thank you all so much for coming out tonight. Rabbi?
Thank you to Yelena on the piano. Thank you to our entire cast. Thank you to Cantor Fair. Chag Purim Sameach. Thank you to all our Megilah readers. Happy Purim.
Hello. Thank you for coming. Happy Purim. Oh, is this thing on? Okay. Happy Purim. Wait, is this on? Wait, oh, okay. Thank you for coming and Wait, is this? Oh, Happy Purim.